In the summer of 329 BC, Alexander the Great's army reached the northern bank of the River Jaxartes. Across the silvered waters, Scythian horsemen waited, poised and silent on the horizon. This would be no ordinary battle. The open steppe would test Alexander's genius against a foe that struck like wind and shadow. A fragile bridge of boats would carry Macedon's courage into history or see it shatter beneath the weight of destiny. After 10 years of relentless conquest, Alexander's army reached the edge of the known world. The Jaxartes cut a silver scar across the steppe, and beyond it roamed the Scythians, mobile horse archers in leather and fur, adept at striking quickly and vanishing into the horizon. Villages loyal to Alexander had been raided, supply lines disrupted, frontier posts burned. Alexander assessed the river and the vast steppe. Defensive patience would embolden the nomads. Audacity would secure the northern frontier. Engineers and soldiers constructed a bridge of boats, lashing timber planks while torches flickered at night. Macedonian phalanx drilled on dusty plains, practicing formation, the rhythm of shields, spears, and footwork, perfected over years of war. Cavalrymen adjusted reins on their mounts, checking saddles, boots, and straps. Patrols were dispatched to scout enemy positions, and Alexander planned the crossing meticulously. Every unit had its role, every movement choreographed. The river was both barrier and battlefield, and one misstep could be catastrophic. As dawn broke, the bridge shimmered in sunlight, Macedonian soldiers ready, the phalanx in tight formation. Across the river, shadows shifted as Scythian scouts watched from the ridges, leather and fur cloaks catching the light. The moment had come. Macedon was poised to test the edge of the world, and the steppe awaited its judgment. The pontoon bridge spanned the Jaxartes, a delicate line connecting Macedon to the wide steppe beyond. Alexander's army prepared to advance. The river's current churned beneath wooden planks as the phalanx, disciplined and precise, stepped forward. Engineers checked the stability of each pontoon, while scouts scanned the distant ridges where Scythians gathered. Cavalry units waited behind the phalanx, poised to flank any enemy who challenged the crossing. Dust rose from the riverbank, mixing with the early morning mist as Macedonian soldiers adjusted their formations. The air was tense, the calm before the inevitable clash. Arrows could come at any moment, and every step mattered. Across the river, Scythian horsemen watched silently, mounted on agile horses, ready to strike at the first sign of weakness. The crossing was more than a maneuver. It was a test of nerve, skill, and the discipline Alexander had forged over a decade of campaigning. One misstep could turn the wooden bridge into a grave. As the first units touched the far bank, the Macedonians pressed forward with controlled determination. Dust swirled, horses stamped, and the clash of an advancing army against the vast open steppe set the stage for the first encounter with a mobile and elusive enemy. Alexander's strategy would be revealed as his army transitioned from crossing to engagement, testing the limits of both discipline and courage. The Macedonians had completed the crossing. The phalanx advanced in tight formation across the vast golden steppe. Every soldier moved as part of a single organism, disciplined and synchronized, testing the open terrain against the mobility of the Scythians. Dust rose with each step, the rhythm of shields and spears echoing across the plains. From the distant ridge, Scythian horsemen surged forward, mounted on agile horses. Leather and fur tunics rustled in the wind, fur-lined cloaks catching sunlight, braided black and chestnut hair visible beneath leather caps. They aimed to strike at the flanks and disrupt the Macedonian advance, testing the army's cohesion. Alexander observed carefully, analyzing enemy movements and anticipating their maneuvers. Cavalry units shifted to guard the flanks while archers loosed volleys toward the approaching nomads. Arrows flew through the air, meeting bronze shields with metallic clangs, the first real exchange of the campaign in this remote region. Macedonians pressed forward steadily, absorbing and countering the Scythian tactics. Dust, hooves, and the clash of bronze filled the steppe. The nomads' mobility challenged the Macedonian formations, but training, discipline, and Alexander's foresight maintained control. Every maneuver was a test of both order and adaptability. The steppe, once a blank canvas of gold, became the stage for the first major engagement. Macedonian tactics against Scythian mobility would determine control of this northern frontier. The clash was chaotic, relentless, and decisive. The first true proving ground of Alexander's genius in a landscape far from the cities and plains of Persia, the Scythians attempted to envelop the Macedonian flanks, sweeping across the golden steppe like a living shadow. Arrows hissed through the air, some striking shields, some missing entirely, yet the phalanx held firm. Discipline met chaos as Alexander's strategy unfolded. With a subtle gesture, cavalry on the right and left flanks pivoted to intercept the nomads. They rode with precision, mounted on dark bay and chestnut horses, coordinating with the advancing phalanx. The disciplined formations of Macedonian soldiers absorbed the initial pressure. Shields locked, spears braced, and the first counterstrike was executed flawlessly. Dust and hooves rose in a chaotic rhythm, blending with the metallic clang of bronze meeting leather. The Scythians, accustomed to scattering enemies, found themselves repelled by organized maneuvers and relentless pressure. Alexander observed shoulder-length blonde hair glinting in the sunlight, assessing every shift in the battlefield while Hephaestion and Craterus directed the flanks. Cavalry and phalanx worked together seamlessly, turning the attempted encirclement into a decisive engagement. The steppe was no longer just terrain, it was a proving ground for Alexander's genius. The first true turning point in the northern campaign had arrived. Discipline and planning overcame mobility and surprise, and the Macedonian army demonstrated the full force of its coordinated power across the vast, unforgiving plains. The Macedonian counterattack had begun to turn the tide. The disciplined phalanx, reinforced by the cavalry, pushed the Scythians back across the steppe. Dust clouds rose around hooves and clashing spears, the metallic clang of bronze punctuating the steady rhythm of the Macedonian advance. The Scythian formations, once fluid and menacing, faltered under the relentless precision of Alexander's army. Nomads accustomed to speed and surprise struggled to maintain cohesion. Horses reared and pawed the ground. Warriors shouted orders, but the coordinated push of phalanx and cavalry created gaps that could not be recovered. Alexander watched from the center of the engagement, adjusting movements and signaling flanking units. Every Macedonian soldier knew their role. Every maneuver was calculated to exploit Scythian weaknesses. The steppe, open and unforgiving, amplified both mobility and discipline. In this environment, order prevailed. As the sun climbed higher, the Scythians began a full retreat, their riders scattering toward distant ridges. Macedonian cavalry pursued cautiously, ensuring the nomads would not regroup for another attack. The first major engagement north of the Jaxartes was over. Macedonian strategy, training, and coordination had prevailed against a mobile, elusive enemy. Victory was not only tactical, but symbolic. Macedon had extended its reach to the edge of the known world. The steppe had tested the army's limits, and Alexander's genius had proven decisive. Discipline had overcome chaos, planning had triumphed over instinct, and the path deeper into Sogdiana was now open. After the Scythians' retreat, Alexander's army paused to consolidate and reorganize. The phalanx reformed, shields overlapping, spears upright, while cavalry swept the flanks, ensuring no nomadic remnants could regroup for another attack. Discipline and order returned to the vast steppe, now quiet except for the stamping of horses and murmurs of soldiers checking equipment. Engineers inspected the pontoon bridge, reinforcing the structure to secure supply lines for the next stage of the campaign. Cavalry units rotated, horses fed and watered, soldiers adjusted armor, and commanders relayed orders with precision. Every step, every movement reinforced the cohesion Alexander demanded. The Macedonian army now held firm control over the northern bank of the Jaxartes. Scouts reported no immediate enemy formations, though isolated groups of Scythians lingered on distant ridges. The discipline and efficiency of Alexander's forces transformed a chaotic engagement into an opportunity to strengthen positions and prepare for further operations deeper into Sogdiana. Morale was high. The army had proven itself against a mobile and elusive enemy, adapting to steppe warfare far from Persia's familiar terrain. The victory, while not large in scale, carried immense strategic weight. The northern frontier was secured, the pontoon bridge held, and Macedon's reach extended further into the unknown. Alexander himself walked the lines, observing the troops, assessing the terrain, and planning the next stage. The steppe, vast and open, had tested both strategy and endurance. The Macedonian army had emerged disciplined, organized, and ready. The conquest of Sogdiana was just beginning, and the northern campaign would leave its mark in history. With the Scythians broken and the northern bank secured, Alexander prepared his army to push deeper into Sogdiana. The steppe gave way to rolling foothills, rivers cutting through the golden plains. Macedonian soldiers, disciplined and battle-hardened, moved in tight formations, spears upright, shields overlapping, with cavalry flanking each side to guard against ambush. Supply lines were carefully managed across the reinforced pontoon bridge, ensuring food, water, and equipment kept pace with the advancing army. Scouts moved ahead, mapping the terrain, noting enemy positions, and signaling potential hazards. The Macedonian army, trained for decades in conventional and siege warfare, adapted quickly to the irregular steppe terrain. Alexander's vision extended beyond immediate victory. The goal was total control of Sogdiana, ensuring Macedon's northern frontier was secure. The army advanced with precision, absorbing the lessons of the previous engagement. The steppe had been a testing ground for mobility, discipline, and strategy. Now the foothills would test endurance and logistics. Despite fatigue, morale remained high. Soldiers knew that their victories, discipline, and cohesion would shape the history of the region. The advance into Sogdiana was not merely a march, it was a statement of power, strategy, and foresight. The Macedonian army was no longer just a conquering force. It was a well-oiled machine capable of controlling even the most elusive enemies across open steppe and rugged foothills. As the sun set over the plains, Alexander surveyed the horizon, shoulder-length blonde hair catching the golden light. Ahead lay challenges, rivers, and mountains, but Macedon's reach had grown. The northern campaign had begun with victory and would continue with precision, discipline, and ambition unmatched anywhere in the known world.